The Galactic Council had stood for 17,000 cycles, a monument to order carved from the chaos of a younger universe. 7 species sat in the great chamber of Veridax Prime, their representatives floating in crystalline pods that hummed with translation matrices. They had seen empires rise and fall, watched stars collapse into themselves, and maintained the long peace through careful diplomacy and overwhelming force. Commander Thexler of the Kryn Dominion raised 3 of his 4 arms in the gesture of grave concern. His exoskeleton gleamed under the chamber's pale light as he addressed the council. The report is confirmed. The silence has been broken. For millennia, a sector of space had remained untouched, quarantined by mutual agreement. The Treaty of Silent Stars had been signed when the council was young, after the discovery that an entire region of approximately 200 star systems emitted no signals, no electromagnetic whispers, nothing. Probes sent into that darkness never returned. Ships that ventured too close reported equipment failures and existential dread among their crews. The prevailing theory was simple. Something ancient and terrible slept there, and wisdom dictated it should remain undisturbed. "What manner of signal?" asked Shalara, the Visic representative, her translucent form rippling with concern. "Audio and visual. Rudimentary by our standards, but deliberately broadcast." Thexelor activated the holographic display. "They call themselves humans. They are from a world they name Earth, located at the heart of the silent sector." The council chamber erupted in agitated discourse. The humans had not emerged from the silence, they had been the silence all along. "Impossible," declared Vortal, the Drell military commander whose species had never lost a war. "We've monitored that sector for 8,000 cycles. Nothing capable of civilization could have developed undetected." "Yet they did," Thexelor replied. "They request an audience with the council. They wish to join us. The decision was made quickly. If these humans had broken the silence, the council needed to understand them before they became a threat. An invitation was sent, and the humans accepted with what the translation matrices interpreted as enthusiasm. 3 Earth months later, a single vessel emerged from the silent sector. The ship was inelegant, built from primitive alloys and fusion technology that the council had abandoned millennia ago. It limped toward Veridax Prime, trailing coolant vapor like blood. "They crossed 300 light years in that?" Shalara's voice held something between horror and admiration. The human delegation consisted of 5 individuals, led by Ambassador Sarah Chen. They walked into the council chamber without protective suits, breathing the standard atmosphere mix that would have been mildly toxic to most species at their technological level. They adapted, or perhaps they simply endured. Ambassador Chen stood before the 7 species that ruled the galaxy, and she smiled. It was a gesture lost on most of the council, that baring of teeth that humans somehow use to convey warmth. "Honorable council members," she began, her voice steady despite knowing that 7 civilizations could erase her species with a single command. "We come seeking not conquest, not territory, but understanding. We've been alone for so long." Vortal leaned forward, his massive form casting shadows across the chamber. "Your isolation was deliberate. Our probes, our ships, you destroyed them all. You kept us out with force." "No," Chen said softly. "We kept you out with fear." She explained then in words that the translation matrices struggled to convey, about humanity's gift and curse. Humans, she told them, were different. Where other species evolved with specialized advantages, the Kryn's tactical processing, the Visic's quantum perception, the Drell's unmatched strength, humans had evolved something stranger. They called it empathy, imagination, and stubborn hope. "We didn't destroy your probes," Chen continued. "We sang to them. We told them stories of fear and isolation, of darkness between stars and things that should not be disturbed. Your machines heard our whispers and believed them, and so did you." Thexelor's mandibles clicked in disbelief. "You're claiming your species' weaponized narrative? That you kept the entire Galactic Council at bay for millennia with nothing but stories?" "Not stories," Chen corrected. "Truth. We were alone, afraid, and young. We didn't know if the universe held friends or conquerors. So we made ourselves into a question mark, something too uncertain to approach. We turned our isolation into armor. And now?" Shalara asked. "Now we're ready. We've watched your broadcasts, learned your languages, studied your cultures. We're ready to stop being the silence and start being the song." Vortal stood, his form intimidating even in the peaceful chamber. You speak pretty words, but we are warriors. We have conquered species who thought themselves unconquerable. What makes you believe you have anything to offer the Council? Ambassador Chen reached into her jacket and withdrew a small device. The Council's security protocol screamed warnings, but she moved slowly, deliberately. She placed it on the floor and activated it. Music filled the chamber. Not the algorithmic compositions of the Kryn or the crystalline frequencies of the Visic, but something raw and chaotic and achingly beautiful. It was Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, created by a deaf man who never heard his own masterpiece, performed by an orchestra of humans who had spent their lives mastering wooden and metal instruments that required no power but breath and touch and passion. The Council sat in silence as the music played. They felt something they had not felt in millennia of perfect order and calculated diplomacy. They felt moved. When the symphony ended, Ambassador Chen spoke into the stillness. We offer you our weakness as our strength. We are irrational, emotional, inefficient. We create art for no purpose but beauty. We explore not from calculation but from curiosity. We hope when logic says despair. We are everything your perfect civilizations evolved beyond. She paused, meeting the eyes or optical sensors or consciousness nodes of each council member, and perhaps that's exactly what you've been missing. The vote was taken 3 days later. Humanity was granted provisional membership in the Galactic Council, the first species in 4,000 cycles to be accepted. As the human delegation prepared to depart, Vortal approached Ambassador Chen privately. The massive warrior, who had led armies across 100 worlds, seemed somehow smaller. I must know, he said. Were you truly afraid? Or was it all strategy? Chen smiled again, that strange human expression. Both, always both. That's what it means to be human. To be terrified and hopeful, weak and strong, all at once. Vortal watched the primitive human vessel limp back toward the silent sector, which would soon echo with the sound of human laughter, music, and endless questions. He realized then what the Council had truly voted to accept. Not an ally, not a threat, but something far more dangerous and necessary, a reminder that the universe still held room for the unexpected, the inefficient, the beautifully, stubbornly alive. The stars had been quiet for millennia, ordered and predictable and safe. Then Earth had whispered of chaos and hope and human resilience, and even the mightiest armies found themselves kneeling, not in defeat, but in recognition of something they had almost forgotten. Wonder.